Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber show. And on today's show, we're going to be recapping that Giants game that we just played. It was horrible. Get in here. You have to stay here and listen to this. So we're going to talk about that game. And then we're also going to preview the Dallas game that's going to come up on Thanksgiving Day, which you should tune into this channel because we're going to do the live reaction show, play-by-plays we normally do. I might be more of a position of less play-by-play or call the play-by-play, but just be a fan because we all get to watch it. So everybody should be able to see it. I will be calling it, and should be fun. Short week. So, but let's talk about that Giants game first. You go first.
Why do I have to go first?
Yeah, I know, right?
Why me?
I'll just start screaming.
Yeah, what a debacle, man. Well, we were there during the live stream, just watched it, unfold before our eyes, the horror. Yep. We talked about it in the last show. Like, hey, if they go in there and lose, or even go in there and win and look like just dog poop, it's like, come on. You're like, like back up the truck, man. You know, pave it over with concrete. Let's all just go. So yeah, I mean, there's a million horrible things to say. I was just looking at the numbers were insane. Yeah. And I was thinking how if I had told you prior to the game that, hey man, we're going to have 9 sacks and only commit 1 penalty.
Yeah,
I bet you'd be like, damn,
yeah,
cool. But then you find out later, no, we had 3 interceptions and lost 3 fumbles. Yeah. Oh, okay. Because in your mind, you go, well, how do you lose a game like that? Oh, wait, that's how you lose a game like that. Just bad all the way around.
In every category.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you couldn't just pinpoint any one person. I mean, Sam really did come down to earth. But no one blocked well. No one, I mean, the sacks were kind of strange. It was almost like for the first time, Jack sort of dialed up a lot of moves and blitzes out of the blue. And so that aspect of the game was kind of really cool. I mean, they sent Mayo on blitzes. They sent him in. He wasn't opposed to even getting DBs in on that. So, which is kind of something, we don't want to be blitz happy, leaving our DBs one-on-one all day long. But man, we're screaming out for some, scheme some pass rushes, some blitzes here where we can really change things up. And like you said, unlike the very easy to detect blitz from the linebacker that you can see coming a mile away. Yeah, I tell you what, man, I guarantee you none of those offensive coaches for New York were ready for David Mayo.
Hell yeah, dude.
Going off.
Believe.
Yeah,
calling
he went
out
crazy.
His name left and right.
Yeah, and tackles for loss. He was very aggressive. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a silver lining there. I mean, we actually put up 170-something yards rushing. So, I mean, it was still a little skewed as far as pass plays to rushing plays. But having said that, at least there was more of an attempt to run the ball. But I saw an interview with Terry, and it was kind of telling. The way he kind of said it was, I can't remember his exact words, but the indication was, hey, if guys don't want to be ready to play, like, what are you doing here? I interpreted that as a shot at the players, not the coaches. That's a player shot, right? Usually they'll say things like, well, we're handcuffed. How are we supposed to get anything done? Or, the scheme didn't really allow us to do what we wanted. Well, that's a shot at the coaches. So, and Terry was pretty quiet. You could tell he looked pretty down, but, I always we wonder about that. I mean, it could be a little of both, but, it's like, is this a real coaching problem? Is the coaching and the scheme that much of a disaster? Or do we have a handful of players that just aren't all in? Exactly what's going on? And we may never know, and we're not going to try and figure that out on this show. But just as an aside, because when that game was over, you and I were like, and every other Commanders fan, besides being angry, monumentally confused.
Yeah.
Like what is it with this team? So
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean. What did you think? I mean, other than utter frustration, what did you get out of it?
Ah, watching it as it went on, it was the turnovers, obviously, and they could have had a couple more. They had one bounce off one of their dude's chest, and I think another one was called back because there was some kind of penalty. So actually, they had a couple more, and we fumbled, and luckily we recovered it, or it could have actually been one more fumble as well. So that aspect of the game looked bad. Um, some things worked and some things didn't. They did run the ball a little bit more. I like that. The screens could have been used better, but every time, if you're just turning the ball over, it's not going to help. But we were looking in the game all the way, even into the fourth quarter. Um, Even with all the things going on, it was still close. It was still like 14-12 at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
So, but I think New York started to run the ball on us. That was killing us. The big explosive plays, that was killing us there at the end. And just not being able to sustain drives, giving the ball
yeah,
away left and right. And just, yeah, yeah. Secondary didn't do a very good job in coverage. I looked at a lot of their numbers, uh, 4 pass attempts against this guy, yeah, 4 receptions. You know what I'm saying? Or 3 passes
yeah,
against this guy, 2 receptions for 48 yards, and all of our guys had that. There was, I think, Forbes did pretty good, but not St. Just and not anybody else. And to let a guy like uh, their quarterback, their third string guy, rip us apart like he did, it speaks volumes. And a lot of it has to do with not getting the pressure on him for some reason, even though we had 9 sacks. They were all early in the game and like 5 in the first quarter and maybe just a few in the second half. So
yeah,
they adjusted their game, and I don't believe we did. And so I don't even think
yeah,
we had a plan going into this game, much less to change a plan that they had in the middle of the game. So, we look good out there except for a few things, and just always no penalties, like you said. But even during the game, how we just kept checking off every loser box you can, all the sacks, all the interceptions, all the fumbles, and then they started missing passes. Dami Brown missed a pass.
yeah,
Robinson missed a pass at crucial times, and it's just like motherfucker. We were
yeah,
still in it towards the end, still with 29 seconds left on the clock, still marching down the field. Could have scored a touchdown and sealed the deal, and then I guess he attempted to throw it out of bounds, and was the pick six just sealed
yeah.
the deal right there.
I
So
yeah,
yeah,
I think that's what he was doing, trying to throw it out. And some of his other interceptions were, man, yeah. Sometimes is where your arm strength, and he has good arm strength, but sometimes where your arm strength, as you read the play, it's not necessarily a misread. You read it right, but you just don't put it the right way. But man, yeah, that was. And did Joey have a? How did Joey do this game? Did he
missed
do it?
another point after
Missed another
attempt.
point after. Did
Another
anyone get
one.
a date? Did anyone get ejected? Do we have an
Yes,
ejection?
that's another box that got checked. Yes, sir. Mr. Curtis Samuel was thrown out of the
Yeah, see,
game.
got to have the
Ew.
ejection. Got to have them as field goal.
Yeah.
Like literally every, that's I was goofing off, but like literally every stupid thing you can do to lose a football game. Like
Yeah.
we pretty much checked them all, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, it
We were
was,
doing that in real time, watching the game, just laughing
yeah,
about how,
pick,
look at this. Yeah,
yeah,
here's another one. Oh, yeah, here's another one. Lord have mercy. I just got so stoic about the interceptions and the turnovers after a while. I just, yep, interception. Like
yeah.
it was
No,
expected. I don't
it was
know. It was just
expected. Yeah.
crazy. So, yeah,
And
pretty
the
bad stuff.
pick six was like the cherry on top.
Ah,
It's like we're interceptions were no longer no, we have to up our game and throw a pick six now because we're the fans are getting a little tired of fumbles and interceptions. So
yeah.
yeah. Well, we beat this thing to death. There
Yeah.
seems to be there's a disconnect. We've talked about it like 4 or 5 weeks ago. we talked about like what's going on with these up and down games, playing against teams. You're at home on Thursday night, you get your primetime game against the Bears, and you just go drop a
Yeah.
turd in the punch bowl, man,
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things that like you weren't ready, you weren't
Yeah.
fired up. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of disconnect. We're not going to figure it out. Maybe after the fact it all comes out, we'll see the
Yeah.
changes next year. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, we just got to suck it up and keep an eye and look for the good things and look for the changes that are going to be positive going forward. I don't know how much of that is going to manifest in this season. I mean, it's very easy at this point to write it off. No one would blame you if you did because it's pretty dire. But we're not dead yet.
No.
Right?
No.
No. They haven't pulled the plug on us yet. So let's talk about those an important game tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Coming up against the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be down there in Dallas, and it's going to be on Thanksgiving, and it's a long supposed rivalry. So, starting maybe with their defense or whatever, they got the killer defense perfectly primed to pick us apart, and I'm sure they want to get in there and do it too. Every team that comes up against us just goes, man, we're going to pad stats today, baby. And that just fuels them even more to go in there. So yeah, their defense is tough. Their injury report didn't seem that big of a deal to me. So they look like they're 100%. So the offense, how are they going to operate against their defense? Fuck, I guess you have to run the ball more or the same amount. I thought he ran a decent amount, that more than what he had been doing.
Oh, without a doubt.
Last game was a good running, so I thought if you could just maintain that would be nice. And then, of course, go into your screens and stuff to keep them spread out, to keep them off Sam, and then take your shots downfield like usual. The same game plan generally, but try and get your run game a little more efficient. Work on that a little bit, because I don't think they just like, it seems to me like they just pick a run play, just do this run play and do it instead of trying to execute a run play against a team, against a certain man, doing a certain pull, doing a certain block. You see what I'm saying? Instead of just calling this left run, whatever. Fuck that. You got to dial it up and make it a good, efficient run. And so running the ball against them ought to get the offense going and keep our defense off the field as much as possible.
Yeah, because that's sort of the tired old thing that happens, the 3 and outs and the turnovers, and then, at the end of the game of a close game, we expect our defense to shut them down on that final drive. It's like, well, you've had them out there all game, and when you didn't, when you did all those 3 and outs, well, guess what? Now all those 3 and outs have come home. And you can't just expect guys to just keep doing that. You need to run at least 8 plays before you punt.
Yeah.
Give them some. They barely got the oxygen masks off on the sideline. They're like, what? I'm going back in
with the turnovers.
Yeah, coach, I'm just got a couple of huffs. Oh, yeah, that's got to be and you talk about just a kick in the gut, man. When you're just sitting down, taking a breather, you want to look at the tablet, kind of maybe look at a few things, see where you're at, and before you know it, hey, put the tablet down, bro. You're in. You're like, haven't had a chance. So that's really tough. So yeah, the run game. I agree with what you said, man. I was watching Philadelphia, man, and their run game, and they just, they block and run with a purpose, man, and they just and the running backs get through the offensive linemen to seal their guys. And I watched them just run like crazy a few times and some great running plays. I'm like, man, these guys are dedicated. It's not just like you said, we say, hey, you got to run more, but maybe it's even more. So, you got to be dedicated when you run, come on. So we got to see that. And like you said, against Philadelphia, a team that can tee off on you, we did a pretty good job. Even Seattle, to a certain respect, another team that will come and send guys and tee off. We really mixed it up good. But this is a whole nother thing. I mean, especially with that killer linebacker. What's his name?
Micah Parsons.
Micah. Yeah, him. He'll you think Kayvon Thibodeau ruins your day.
Yeah, I know.
Wait till that. I mean,
I know.
if when Leno looks up and sees Micah Parsons out there, he'd probably just poop his pants, man,
Yeah.
because Thibodeau ripped him, and this guy's a step up from that. So yeah, I mean, it could get out of hand pretty quickly. And this team's weird. They're probably going to play pretty good. I mean, if we're looking at their history, they are actually going to probably show up this week. They're weird, man, and that's what they do. So that's a good thing. On paper, I know a lot of people out there are laughing, and rightly so. Looking at our offense, our turnover-prone battle line offense against this Cowboys team, it's very easy for anyone to say, "Oh man, they're going to get run over." But we know better. This team's strange, dude. They step up. The only real injury they even have is Jaron Kearse, safety. So I mean, he's doubtful. He's got some back issues. He may not play. So anyway, but speaking of our defense now, we know that James Smith-Williams won't play, and Emmanuel Forbes is out.
Yeah, he's out
with that elbow. So that is going to really hurt them. And we were doing pretty good all the way around in other spots. But it's just now that we're talking about the defense, we're going to have to go with the same defensive ends. F.A. Obata's on IR. He's getting surgery. He's not coming back. But that's going to kind of hurt considering that our DBs just didn't do that well. Let's be honest.
Well, supposedly we got Cody Barton coming back. So,
there you go. That'll be interesting. I thought Coach said something interesting. He said, well, we'll get with Cody coming back. So it looks like Cody will go back to starting. And Coach did say, hey, David Mayo did a great job for us, which is really true. David had a great PFF rating and ran a 74 PFF, with about 25 points over his career PFF play. So David Mayo did really good. But he says now we'll be able to get Jamin back to playing the way in a position of where he's more used to, and won't have to do as many packages. So I'm guessing they were maybe for passing. I don't know. They were probably pulling David Mayo out a little more, making Jamin move in more towards the middle. You know what I mean? They were maybe maneuvering a little bit around David Mayo because he does have some coverage issues. But for what it's worth, then Cody will be back. I don't think, I'll be honest with you, I thought David Mayo played fine, and I thought Jamin played fine. So I hope it's not a step down.
Although Mayo was getting beat up over the middle by a few teams. So,
he does.
And Cody will wear the green dot, so that'll help Jamin. That'll free him up. He won't have to do that. Cody can just go back to doing what he's doing, let Jamin roam like he's used to. And so secondary needs some help. That last game, they didn't look like they were communicating too well. Like I said, they didn't play too well. So now you got Forbes going out. I guess it's Danny Johnson steps up. And
yeah, that's rough. So, and I think they did bring up, speaking of the defense, we actually picked up a guy from Chicago Bears practice squad, a defensive end named Jalen Harris. And so I know that we had Pryor brought up last week. I think he was probably, I don't think he even played at all. But
he played on special teams.
Is that all it was? Okay, good. So we'll get Pryor. Maybe he'll get in there. But hey, on speaking of defense, we do have KJ Henry, who has really been a bright spot, which we need desperately. Any bright spot on this team, but he's kind of shown some stuff there. So that's really a positive.
Yeah, I agree. I hope Andre Jones can do the same thing. They both got them long arms. They block passes like crazy. So I really like what they're doing. I'm glad that we Sweat and Young, they had to leave, but I'm glad these two guys are stepping up. Even with F.A. Obata beat up, they're still in there. So I'm happy with that group. They still don't seem to get enough pressure, and going against Dallas and Dak, I mean, that's about the only thing you can count on is if you could get some pressure on him and make him make mistakes. But
yeah, because Dak started off this season pretty slow, man. But boy, he's righted the ship. I mean, he's really just being super efficient, mixing the ball around. So yeah, I mean, we don't get any pressure. Long day.
Yeah.
And maybe Del Rio will keep it up. Maybe Del Rio will tell guys, hey, get ready, man. We're going to call your number. Get ready to blitz, because we're not going to sit back there and have a 12-play drive and eat up half the second quarter. We're going to send some guys. So
yeah,
let's hope. I mean, they almost have to in this with playing Dallas. So, I mean, heck, if Tommy DeVito can slice us and dice us,
that was bullshit.
It was, man. So
yeah, we had more yards than them. We had more rushes
everything.
than them, everything.
Less penalties than them. The only spot, of course, was the turnovers, but we really had more than any. We did better than them in so many areas. Just shot ourselves in the foot.
And also, all the NFC teams that were supposed to lose all lost. The Seahawks lost, Minnesota lost, and Tampa Bay lost. So if we would have just won, we would have gained on it. Those are the three teams that we are up against.
Yeah.
Would have been up against, are still up against for that playoff spot. And all three of them lost. And all we needed to do was win. And we'd be fucking right there, dog.
We'd be sitting right there.
Worthy of a team to go into a Thanksgiving Day game. You want to go into this game against the Dallas Cowboys for it to fucking mean something, for you to be at least close.
Yeah.
At least if we won, maybe tie them or something, or come within one of them or something, and still, something exciting instead of, it looks like Dallas is going to trash the Commanders. So, yeah. But I'm like you, I hold out. They could still do it. They could still win. It just, it's the whole, like you said, something going on in that fucking locker room. You know what I mean? I hear people talking about getting rid of somebody and people like that, but if that's the person that's causing the problem in the locker room, then I would say the person should be removed and not hang on to him. This is just a matter of this person just isn't getting the job done, and he's not really the problem in the locker room. Then fine, just leave everything in the way it is. But it just seems like there's always something, like they just don't have it together for some reason. They never ever bring heat, and it's always just too fucking close, and they should have won, and all the pieces are there, and we say it every fucking week. But well, it's that's why we love them. We can hope they can tie it together and pull out the win on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, let's hope. Well, yeah, I mean, it's gonna really. I mean, I hate to say it; it sounds so trivial, but it really is going to take both sides of the ball, man, playing mistake free. And really mixing things up on defense and offense. If we give them any vanilla on either side of the ball, they have a solid roster. They'll just tear it apart.
Yeah.
So let's hope we bring, the way we played the Seahawks and the way we played the Eagles. Let's hope that team shows up. That's the most we can hope for.
Yeah, I'm hoping for it too. Should be fun. It's a Thanksgiving. It's the big game. Just make it a lot of fun. Just make it this game. Keep it in its own little box and watch it for that, and the win. So
well, I'll be there, man. I'll be in the chat, and hopefully people are showing up in between turkey dressing and all the good stuff, man. All right,
hanging out with the fam. Come and listen to us do the play-by-play live reaction here on Thursday, 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Everybody should be able to watch it. So just tune us in and listen to us and ask BH questions in the chat room and say hello.
Yep. Looking forward to it. All right, man. Good job.
See ya.
All right.